Hi everyone, welcome back. In the last part, we had a general discussion on some examples which were trying to prove us that even the most efficient people or even the most efficient systems, if they are imposed to something or exposed to something hypothetical that they never imagined or something that they were not built for, then they may actually surrender up and say that, hey dude, listen, what, I don't want to work on this, or basically I cannot work with this. So we gave it. I just gave a small example of my mom how she used to manage a lot of stuff, but when many a guest came in, she got angry and told me that if this kind of a situation ever arises, I'll just lock the door and run away. Then we tried to have a reference of the actual database systems or the data warehouses that we had earlier, and we tried to find out that did really anything goes wrong in their side in the data sector which compelled them to resign and say that we won't be working. So we had a look at different angles. We had a comparison between the online and offline store. Then we saw the trend that happens on Facebook when something goes good, or the velocity of the people in a sale like the Flipkart had the big billion day. And then we realized that yes, even in the data sector, something hypothetical which was beyond the imagination power of the earlier systems happened. And as these systems were developed way back before the internet came in, these systems never ever imagined that something like this would ever happen. So these systems were compelled to say that, okay, we cannot work with this. And when they started the resignation part, then they were asked that why are you quitting? And then they named it as big data. So this big data entire concept came from a huge variety of data which is really high in volumes and comes to us at great speed. And then we concluded that, okay, these are the three main characteristics that can define a particular piece of data as big data. So these are the three V's of big data, which are variety, volume, and velocity. Now let's try to have a look at, which are the different sectors in which this big data plays an important role, and why it is important for people or entrepreneurs or industries to search for new big data solutions that can handle this kind of a problem, and which are the different sectors that are affected by this growth of data. So before actually getting into all this stuff, let's do one thing. Let's try to understand, why, how exactly a website is developed, or how exactly some upgrades are done on a website. So basically, in any web-based company, what we typically have is we have this kind of a structure. So they have their website, which is connected with a database, which we refer to as a production database, the one in the blue color, or a live database. And then they have their web servers wherein all the information of whatever happens on the website is being captured there. So if today I go to a YouTube website and start surfing some videos or start surfing through some pages, then all this information is recorded on the reference of my IP address into these web server logs. So what happens is, now the company decides that they want to do some upgrades on the website. So basically they are planning to add a new page or a new module onto the website. So what happens, the manager comes to the developers. So these computers which I have shown in the diagram, they are nothing but the office people. When I talk about an office of a web development company, that what we have is two different groups. One is your developers and the other one is your testing team. So what happens, the manager comes to the developers and tells them that, okay, this is the requirement that I have to add such a page that it will do this, it will do that, and some functionalities. So these developers go ahead and using some programming languages design a very good web page. And then what they do is, while this development is happening, they don't randomly develop it, or they don't develop it on the actual website which we people, which we end users access. What they have with them is some local copies of the database as well as the website. So as you can see in here, all these developers have the local copy of the website as well as a local copy of the database. So what these developers do is, instead of changing on the actual website, they make the changes in the local website. And once these developers are ready with their changes, they give it to the other group or the other sector of the company, which is the testing team. So these testing teams, what they do is they verify and try to find out whether whatever changes these people have made, is it in some way affecting the existing functionality of the website, and whatever functionality was expected from these changes, are we actually getting those, and are there any errors or bugs imposed into the system? Once the testing team is satisfied that okay, everything is as expected without any errors and everything is working good, so they give a green signal to the manager that yes, now the developers and testers both are ready to deploy the changes on the website. So at this particular point of time, what we do is we start a release process or a upgrade or deployment process. So what is this deployment process all about? I cannot take the content from the local websites and directly deploy it on my actual website, because people are accessing my actual website and the data inside my actual database. So if I will directly do some changes into it, then it may affect the functioning of the website or may introduce some logs or something. So what I have to do is, for some time being, for the time being, when I'm deploying all the content from my local database and website onto my actual database and website, I have to break the connection of this website with the entire world outside. So no end user is able to view the website during this period. And this is called as a site maintenance or site upgrade period. Okay, so what happens in this site upgrade period is nothing. Whatever is developed earlier by the developers, this is deployed on the actual website, and then the testing team does a check on the actual website also to, just a second verification that everything is going fine. And once they're satisfied that everything is working good, they give a green signal, and then the website is made available for the end users. But during this period of time, it's like at least a couple of hours, the website is not available for use to the end users. Now, suppose if companies like Flipkart, say talk about company like Flipkart, if it takes this downtime or if it makes its website unavailable to the users in say any metro city like Mumbai, around the time say like afternoon 12 to 2, when it is a lunch time, then can you imagine what can happen to the business of these companies? So basically, why are they at the first place, why are these guys doing any development on the website? So that they can stay ahead in the competition by introducing new features, so that they can grab more customers and expand their market, right? But if they are taking a downtime in the lunchtime, like 12 noon to 2 noon, 2 in the afternoon, when there is lunchtime in most of the companies, when people actually have ample time to go to the e-commerce websites and do the shopping, because we have seen this, right? There's a trend that if you're a working professional, whenever you get time, basically in your lunchtime, what you'll do is you'll immediately go to the e-commerce site and start surfing for some stuff, and you'll buy some stuff there. So this is the period when most of the people may actually go to the e-commerce sites and buy something. So if Flipkart or Snapdeal takes a downtime at this particular moment, then what will happen? People will try to access their site, but they would fail to do so because the site would be under maintenance. So what they will do is they'll go to some other site like Amazon and they'll buy stuff from there. So what is happening? The business of the companies like e-commerce companies is getting adversely affected because of this. On the other hand, when their vision was to increase the market, so instead of increasing the market, the upgrades are finally turning it to decreasing your market. So this makes this decision very important, that when should you actually take the downtime? When should you actually take the downtime? So how do they analyze this, or how do they come to a decision that okay, this is the best suitable time for taking the downtime? So what they do is, as I said earlier, this web servers, they have the history and information of each and every IP address that ever came to the website, and whatever it did from the recorded timestamp, it has everything, and each and every page is traversed. So what these guys do is, using the web server logs, they analyze that okay, this is the best time when the intensity or the volume of people active on my website is really low, and then they go ahead and take a downtime. So say if I want to take a downtime for people in Mumbai or for my website in Mumbai servers, so what I'll do is I'll take a downtime like from 5 to 6, because we have Since childhood, I have observed that this is the time when people actually rush to their homes. So they don't have enough time to log into their mobiles or to their laptops and buy some stuff. So they may go home and do it, but during this period, 5 to 6 or 5 to 7, there may be least number of people available who do these kind of shoppings. So where is big data involved in all this? So if you talk about the web server logs of companies like websites like YouTube or Flipkart or say your Facebook, then they generate around petabytes of data or petabytes of log files in just couple of hours. So imagine if I want to do some analysis on this, then I may collect at least 60 months or an year of data, which is like couple of petabytes in 1 hour. So just imagine what is the size of data that I would be dealing with just to conclude a small decision that when should I take the downtime or which is the best or suitable time for taking a downtime, right? So this is one sector which we can talk as the big data problem affected one. So this is the sector or this is the area where people are actually concerned about this big data so that they can conclude a better decision and they can make profit when they want to make profit, and their profit making trend does not actually end up in making a loss for them. So this is one of the use cases of big data, and that's why I wanted you to understand how an entire thing works, because just saying that when it comes to site maintenance we have big data, it wouldn't have given a clear picture to everybody, or at least to those people who don't have a background of IT. It wouldn't have given a picture that what is release process and what is all this stuff. That's why I wanted to show you all this, that okay, how this release process and everything happens. You might have seen this kind of message on the websites like IRCTC and many others like banking, that due to scheduled maintenance our website would be down from this time to this time. So this is exactly what I am talking about, and for this purpose they need analysis of like 6 months or years of data, and for companies like YouTube it is like more than couple of petabytes in just a single hour. So moving further, let's have a peep at some of the use cases of this big data solution and big data problem. So what I have with me is customer sentiments analysis, site maintenance, branding, stock markets, bank's credit score, and the climate sensing. Out of this, we have already seen that, site maintenance we have just talked about now. And when we were discussing about the online and offline store comparison in the last part, we already saw this customer sentiment analysis. I need to understand what my customer is thinking or what my customer would probably buy after buying a game CD or say Counter Strike. So all these things they analyze it using with the help of the recommendations or the market reviews or the feedbacks and the social networking post and everything. Similarly, this branding also is a part of the social networking pages that I have. So the likes and post, everything on there is a part of this branding. So these stuff are related to your e-commerce or your social media sites, but let's talk about some applications beyond this also. So big data is basically not restricted. The problem of big data did not only struck these e-commerce or the banking or the social networking sites, but they did struck to some areas wherein we never imagined that uh, computers or this big data may actually come in. Some of these areas, apart from some mentioned in over here, I kind of remember one area where we never thought that computers may ever take a role into. So it is your medical sector. So some company and some medical company in the foreign countries, probably US, what they have done is they have made use of Hadoop to diagnose some problems at the early stages. So what typically they do is they work on brain diseases. So what they have done is they have deployed a system wherein suppose any person comes with any problem, like say headache. So they'll take an MRI scan of that person and store into your big data solution like Hadoop. Okay. Then what they'll do is they have collected like 5 6 years of data for every person in all the stages. They took an MRI scan and dump it inside to their system, and then what they do is if any new patient comes in saying that okay, I have a headache, they take his MRI scan and they compare it and try to match it with all the MRI scans available. Now suppose they get close to like 1,000 MRI scans. So what they do is From these 1,000 MRI scans, they compare the medical history of all these patients with the new patient that has just arrived. And suppose they find a match. So my newly arrived patient was say ABC, and the patient whose match is founded was XYZ. So what they do is then they study the history of patient XYZ first. And then they realize that, okay, patient XYZ also came for a headache problem. Then later, couple of years later, he came for a small tumor problem. And 5 years approximately later, he died with a brain hemorrhage. So because the MRI scan of ABC and XYZ are same at the initial stage, because ABC has also reported a headache, and because the medical history of ABC as well as XYZ is same, and because I have seen this trend for over years that people of this medical history with this problem finally end up suffering from a brain hemorrhage, now I can guide ABC in a proper way that he never reaches the second stage. Now I can start preventive measures for this particular guy and make sure that he actually avoids a brain hemorrhage. So this is one sector. Again, talking about your stock markets, if you have ever seen, or you can now go and see the channel called as CNBC. So in this, every afternoon they have a market lunch session in which people actually sit there and start, they talk about the different stock prices and they give analysis that, okay, this stock may reach to this level or this stock may hold at this level and all this. So how do they do this? So what they do is they have been observing trends on these stock for over years, and in different situations when different kind of things happen related to the company of that stock, and then they have derived a conclusion that, okay, these are the ratios at which these stocks show some stability. So if they want to make any decision like this on which many people depend and invest their money based on that, so they have to be kind of sure, right? So what they do is they take samplings for that particular stock over years, and based on the ratios that they get out of those samplings, they make a decision that, okay, this is the levels at which it will say show a strong hold, or this is the level at which they will show a weak hold. Talking about your banks or credit score, so everybody knows you get calls saying that, hey sir, I'm calling from so and so bank, are you interested in buying a credit card? And or once you're into it, then they call you that, hey, we have a special offer on credit card, so would you like to go for it? So how do they do this? Do they call all the 100 crore people every population in India? No. What they do is they analyze your credit score, they analyze certain facts and figures here and there, like your salary, this and that, and they finally concluded, okay, this is the guy who might be interested in buying a credit card. Apart from this, this is the guy who is eligible for a credit card application. Then they take your contact details and everything from the telecom companies, and then they contact you. So even talking about this, what they have is history, yours history, and talking about yours history, they also have the history of all the 100 crore people for over years, from which they are able to do this analysis and they develop your credit score and everything. Again, talking about one more application, what I can talk about is your climate sensing. So your climate sensing, if you take a good example of your tsunami, so what happened during the tsunami was, not during the tsunami, or actually what happened after the tsunami was, these guys, these climate departments, weather forecast departments, they were actually able to find out traces and find out different scenarios in which a tsunami can happen. So for this, what they did was they studied everything from the beginning and different patterns and everything, and then they reached to a conclusion that, okay, whenever these kind of things may happen inside the ocean or inside the whirlpool, then a tsunami may actually strike. Then again, these every day they have the news reporting wherein they say that, okay, the temperature may be like this, or there may be a rainfall, or there may be a snowfall or something like that. So how do they come to know? Do they sit in the morning saying that, what should I say today in the news? Should I say that it would rain, or should I say that it is going to be a snowfall or something? They cannot do like this, right? Okay, but anyways, talking about this, we have observed it since childhood that whenever these news reporting guys say that it's going to be a rainfall, it actually never rains. But still, they have these kind of analysis which gives them a position to actually go ahead and do a statement that it may rain, which may, at least nowadays, stand 90% true. So how do they derive this information? So they derive this information from the logs that they get from the satellites, and from the all the information from the what they get from the satellites, they do a comparison for over years on all the regions, and then conclude that okay, under these circumstances, this region has faced a heavy rainfall for over the years, and so there's a possibility for this region to receive a rainfall today also. So these are some areas wherein big data has given a huge struck, and these are some areas wherein big data problems are, it's very important to handle the big data problems, because we cannot move ahead in life in these sectors at least, and many others, without handling this big data situations. But wait a second, dude, we have explained what big data looks like in a general environment. We went through a couple of use cases also. But you know what? I am not an entrepreneur. Neither I am somebody who works in a hospital, nor do I own a hospital. Neither I am a news reporter, neither I am a banking guy or something like that. So why should I be learning all this stuff? Why should I care about, and neither I am a database architect. So why should I be learning this? Am I really concerned about what's happening in there? These people are managing it. Let them manage it. What should I be doing there? So, suddenly somebody will say that, hey, you may get a job into this. So talking about jobs, the big data problem is not yesterday's problem, right? It is like around 7 years into the market. So people by now have already generated big data solutions like Hadoop. They have deployed in their companies. All the companies who face this problem of big data, they have already deployed the Hadoop solutions, and they are working fine with it. So they have people working with it. They have their own employees, and everything is proper. Now, why do we want to learn this? So somebody will again say that, you know what, it is related to data. So the data is always going to go on increasing. How do you say that? My question would be very simple. How can you say that the data is going to increase? Has somebody actually come to you and said that, okay, because data was increasing last time, data is going to increase again? It is already done. Yesterday, internet was not there. And that's why when internet came in, the data showed a boom. But now internet is already there. Do you know any other technology which is going to produce data in this kind of a phase? Internet has already produced all data it can. So how is data going to increase? And how are we going to get jobs? So the answer is, let's talk about a simple example. So you guys might have used WhatsApp or Hike or some media like this, right? Or at least you might be aware about what is a WhatsApp or what is a Hike, right? So if I talk about WhatsApp, then WhatsApp has been in the industry for around 2 years. But for like, for only last 3 months or last 6 months, it has actually started doing some heavy upgrades onto its system. But for the last one, before that, for 1.5 years, apart from WhatsApp Plus, I don't remember seeing any major update from WhatsApp. Why? Line came in, apps like Line came in, WeChat came in, but it actually never affected WhatsApp, and it was very relaxed, sitting there idle and not making any upgrades. What was the reason behind it? But suddenly from last 3 months, it has shown many major updates. It has shown updates like the blue text. It has shown updates like the deciding whether somebody should know your last scene or not. And it has also come up with recent update like WhatsApp calling. So how did this guy, started all this all of a sudden? The reason is, as soon as a Hike came in with all advanced features. So basically, when apps like WeChat and Line came in, they came up with some stickers. So what Hike did is, Hike brought this Line and WeChat application, took the WhatsApp application, combined it together, and came up with their own application called as Hike. So what happened? this hike started gaining popularity into the market. So as hike started getting popularity in the market, WhatsApp felt that it may turn out to be the second Orkut of the industry. So we everybody know what happened with Orkut, right? So Orkut was a social networking site first of its kind, and everybody was very happy using it with using it. Suddenly Facebook came in, and this ship of Orkut sank somewhere deep down with Titanic. So now nobody even knows, this generation doesn't even know what Orkut is, right? So WhatsApp might have got a similar kind of a feeling that, okay, if we don't show any movements now, if we don't do any upgrades now, then what may happen is we may turn out to be the Orkut of the industry. So what WhatsApp did is WhatsApp again did some upgrades and tried to be in competition with Hike. What happened in there? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So WhatsApp was already there. Then Hike came in. Hike got popularity. So WhatsApp did some upgrades, and WhatsApp started gaining back its popularity, or I'll say retained its popularity. In turn, what will happen now with the Hike? So Hike every day makes some updates in its stickers. It introduces new stickers, new lang stickers in new languages, new stickers for different areas, new stickers for different situations. So what is Hike doing? Hike is again upgrading its system. So again, WhatsApp will feel that something is going wrong. So what will happen? Again, WhatsApp will upgrade. Again, Hike will feel that WhatsApp is going ahead. So again, Hike will upgrade. Again, WhatsApp will feel that Hike is going ahead. So WhatsApp will upgrade. So this will keep on happening. But why is this happening? Because if you have a system and people are using it, if you have a system, so what happens? Let's talk about the invent of technologies like this. So what happens? Firstly, a technology like this, WhatsApp or something, is developed. Then people start using it. Then entrepreneurs feel that, okay, this is a good way to earn money because people are using it, and this technology like WhatsApp is popular among people. So what happens? Companies or entrepreneurs like Hike come into the market, and once they come into the market, they come up with some advanced features. So what happens? More and more people start using it. So when more and more people start using it, what happens? The competition increases. So the existing guys, they start upgrading their systems even more. Plus, because there are more people now using, so more entrepreneurs start feeling that, okay, this is a better way to earn money. So again, they start investing more and come up with new tech applications in that technology sector. So what happens? Again, there are upgrades into the product. So again, more people start using it. Again, more entrepreneurs feel that this is a good way to earn money. So again, some new things happen. Again, the overall look and feel of the technological product increases. More people, more entrepreneurs, more competition, and this becomes a cycle. So if I talk about all this in general, then what I can state is a new product is launched. What is the spelling of entrepreneurs? Okay. So the entrepreneurs start feeling, So if you now have a look at whatever I've written in here, you can observe one thing, that this is becoming a cycle. And this cycle will go on increasing and it has no end to it. For example, I'll tell you something. If I tell my dad to deposit 100 rupees in my account, what he'll do is he'll walk 4 kilometers and go across the bank and physically go there and deposit 100 rupees in my account. But if I tell him that do an online banking, dad, he'll say that, look, dude, I don't trust the online systems and I don't feel that they are much secure. If I tell my mom that, okay, go and do an online shopping, so what she'll say is, I agree that there are discounts on online shopping, but the product, the quality of the product that these guys provide is not that good. So it's okay if I go offline to the store and buy it. But tomorrow, as we are observing this trend, banks like ICICI and HDFC have declared themselves as digital banks. So tomorrow this is going to happen, that the overall architecture that this online banking have, it is going to be become very secure, because the competition is increasing. First HDFC was the one who came up with digital banking, then to stay ahead in the competition ICICI Bank came in, and soon all the other bank also may join the party and they'll have digital banking. And what will happen is this online banking sector will become more secure. So finally my dad will also realize that, okay, this is the good way to, or the secure way to actually deposit money. Similarly, with so many e-commerce sites available, there may be a time wherein the competition is running so high that people will tell you that, okay, you select 10 items, will get the items to your place, then you can select one of those, pay money for that and return the 9. And if some this kind of a things actually happen, then even my mom will feel that, okay, online shopping is a better way to do than offline shopping. So what is happening? If today I say that, okay, 60% of the total population in the world is using internet related technologies, then with this kind of a cycle coming into place, I can surely say that the remaining 40% will also very soon come into this. But still, where are we in the picture? So here comes our role. Here comes our role. So whenever the competition increases, if you want to stay ahead into the competition, you have to come up with something new and something better. You cannot have the same thing again and come into the market. If there are already 10 shops near in my locality selling dosa, then I cannot start off thinking of opening, a new shop, the 11th one, which will serve the same dosa that everybody else serves, because then nobody's going to come up to you. But if I come with like Chinese dosa or Italian dosa or something like this, then people are sure to come to me because I have done some upgrades in the dosa. So whenever I want to do some upgrades, I first need to realize that, or first need to understand that what is that people are happy with the existing systems, and what is that people are expecting or not happy with whatever they have in these products. And whatever these products fail in providing the people, I'll give that to the people. So this is like understanding your sentiment of your customers. So I'll understand that, okay, people are eating dosa, but they are not having Italian kind of a dosa, or some spicy dosa or something, and then I'll come up with that and I'll get ahead in the market. So if the competition is restricted to 10 dosa people, then it's okay, I can do it with small data analysis. But if it goes to like 1,000 people preparing dosas, or 1,000 or 10,000 or billions of dosa walas, then this becomes tough. And as we can see in the cycle, the entrepreneurs are increasing. So what's happening is the data that needs to be analyzed to stay ahead in the competition is increasing. And if the data is increasing, then I can surely say that if it's big data today, it can be bigger data tomorrow and biggest data day after tomorrow. And if this kind of a things are happening, then to stay ahead in the competition, I need to analyze more and more and more data. And if I need to analyze more and more data in the future, then I surely need more and more people who can understand this big data problems and who can work efficiently on these big data solutions. And here is where you come into picture, and here is the reason why you should actually be learning this big data solutions. So now let's try to have a look at some in-depth things of big data. Let's give some proof and some report statistics to whatever discussion we had so far. And let's try to conclude that, okay, whatever cycle we talked about, this is already taken consideration by some big companies that do the forecast, and this is actually existing somewhere. So let's have a look at some of the facts and figures of your big data sector. Talking about the facts and figures, big data was projected to be a $28.5 billion market in around 2014, growing to by like more, nearly double, reaching 50.1 billion by the end of 2015. Big data is supposed to create 4.4 million jobs by the end of 2015. And talking about US alone, around 2018, it may face a shortage of more than 200,000 people able to deal with this big data problem and big data solutions. Even today, 29% businesses report that their marketing departments have too little or no consumer or customer data. So today we are living in an area or living in a society where we are talking about bronotobytes of data, but still 29% of the people feel, 29% of the businesses feel that when the data is collected by their marketers, it is not appropriate enough to make real-time decisions. So imagine the hunger for data is still there. We are still hungry for data and we still need more data so that we can understand our customers in a better way. This is only because the competition is increasing heavy. It is increasing like anything, and that's why the hunger is always increasing. Having a look at big data in today's business and technological environment, what we come to conclude is 2.7 zettabytes of data exist in the digital universe today. IDC estimates that by 2020, the business transactions on the internet, that is business to business and business to consumer, may reach around 450 billion per day. Walmart handles more than 1 million customer transactions every hour, which is imported into databases estimated to contain more than 2.5 petabytes of data. More than 5 billion people are calling, texting, tweeting, and browsing on the mobile phones worldwide. In 2008, Google was processing 20,000 terabytes of data, which is nearly 20 petabytes a day. So in 2008 means 6 years from here. So imagine what kind of what amount of data Google might be processing now, and what it may process 6 years later. The rapid growth of unstructured data. Now have a look at what data we have collected so far and how hungry we are that we are still collecting data. Just have a look at this. YouTube users upload 48 hours of new video every minute of the day, wherein 571 new websites are created, and the brand and organizations on Facebook receive around 34,722 likes every minute of the day. According to Twitter's own research in early 2012, it sees roughly around 175 million tweets every day and has more than 465 million accounts. The data production is estimated to grow 44 times in 2020 than that it was in 2009. To sum up all this, I can say that the amount of data in the world today is equal to every person in the US tweeting 3 tweets per minute for 26,976 years. More than 200 billion HD movies are already available with us, which may take a person like 47 million years to watch. But our hunger is not satisfied here. We started with bits, we went on to bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, and we went to zettabytes, yottabytes, and now we are talking about bronotobytes, but this is not it. We are still counting, and we'll keep on counting and keep on counting. So I can surely make a statement now that whatever is big data today, surely tomorrow it is going to be bigger data, and day after tomorrow it is going to be biggest data. But wait a second. Okay, understood that big data is going to stay there forever and it is going to be biggest data. But what is the guarantee that big data solutions like Hadoop are going to stay forever there? So the reason and the statistics or the comparison is simple. Your C language. C language was the base over your machine language. And even today, C language is having its own popularity. Many other languages like Java and PHP, they came in and they are ruling the markets today, but the base is always your C language. Even these languages have their base as C language. Similarly, after your typical distributed architecture, this is the first advent, or this is the first advancement, which is called as your Hadoop. And it has already made the platform for handling large amount of data, such a platform wherein the developers of the architecture feel that Hadoop is not even 50% utilized today. And it may get utilized or fully utilized by 2018, and then we can think of upgrading the system to a higher level. So they are talking about a technology of 2018 and not 2015 or 2014. So it is meant to be there for ever, because it is the layer above your typical distributed systems, and whatever is going to get developed now or whatever will develop around the future will always revolve around the base architecture of Hadoop. That's why this makes a very interesting and very important technology to learn and have in your skill sets. So this is all as far the scope of this video is concerned. But stay tuned for the next video, and we'll have a small discussion on the technical aspects of big data, and we'll try to go through some slides wherein we'll whatever we have discussed so far, we'll try to summarize it with help of some slides, and then we will conclude till a point wherein when we'll exactly peep in and see why the typical distributed systems were have what kind of a problem the typical distributed systems were having and all this stuff. But by then, by the time this is all from this video, thanks a lot and stay tuned.